Hi, my name is Kyle, and this is Moonlighter. Moonlighter is a roguelite ARPG that lets you explore and fight through dungeons, while securing up by selling the loot you require through your shop. With the gold you gain, you can also invite other merchants to the town and gain significant benefits by upgrading your cash register or bed, for instance. You play as Will, the merchant adventurer. You are quickly introduced to the 4 dungeons, which upon entry are procedurally generated. Each dungeon has 3 levels, and each floor has a boss that gets harder as you go. The main dungeon boss is on level 3 and can only be killed once. If you die in the dungeon, the layout is reset, and all enemies and bosses are respawned, with the exception of the boss on the level 3, which gets replaced by a timed mod battle. You can also use the pendant to eject yourself from the dungeon for a small cost, which also resets the dungeon without you losing your inventory. Or you can pay extra to open a portal you can re-enter to keep the dungeon state the same, carrying on where you left off. Inventory management is a large part of the gameplay loop. In any particular dungeon, you'll find more loot than you can physically store in your backpack. Items of the same type will stack, however cursed artifacts are also found that stack independently depending on the cursed type, and must be placed in a bag with some care in order to avoid or perhaps exploit the curse. In my gameplay, I ended up chucking most fragile items, an artifact that breaks if you are hit too often, or positional items, artifacts that must be placed in specific parts of the bag, away into the mirror, which is a power you gain early on in the game that allows you to destroy items for a small amount of gold in return. This makes good room for duplication artifacts that turn a stack of another item into the cursed artifact itself, which can reliably get you hundreds of thousands of gold in a single dungeon run. In fact, this method worked so well, I had no real need to accept any of the quests from shop guests because they were often more annoying, and there was rarely a point where I didn't have millions of gold. There are a variety of weapons and armor. I made the choice fairly early on to stick with the fabric armor set, which gives you health, but more importantly some extra speed. As for the weapon, I found the gauntlets to be both strong and fast, unlike many of the other weapons, which just seemed too slow. More likely, I just sucked with the other weapon. There isn't much to say about Dungeons 2, 3 and 4, since they follow the same gameplay cycle, but offer an increasing difficulty and more rewarding loot as expected. Once all 4 dungeons and their respective bosses are defeated, you'll gain access to the last dungeon, where you'll find some backstory, a boss you'll likely not be prepared for, and in my opinion a rather anticlimactic end, inviting you to start a new game plus. Whilst I'm sure there's more I could have achieved with the game if I carried on, I decided to end my time with it there, but I'd certainly recommend this game to anyone that enjoys the genre. I personally really loved the pixelated style, and after playing the game for so many hours, I found myself whistling the main theme tune many times, which definitely warrants a soundtrack purchase. For those interested, keep watching for the end of the game that I experienced, and if you have been, thank you very much for watching.